Hi students, Maria Tyler here. Today I'm just going to show you how I enter the Wesfarmers financial statements into our company spreadsheet. What's the point of doing it? Well, we want to literally type out our entire company's financial statements. There's only the three of them: our statement of changes in equity, the balance sheet, and the profit and loss and the comprehensive income statement. Sometimes your firm will show these as two documents, sometimes they'll have them joined into one called statement of profit and loss and comprehensive income, or something similar. So you want to enter those three main statements, or four if these are split into two, as Wesfarmers does, into our company spreadsheet. We don't do the statement of cash flows. Do not enter your statement of cash flows for this assessment. We need to get those ready. We need to type them into our company spreadsheet, ready for the next steps. You can't move on unless you've got the underlying financial statements in there correctly. Some tips: download all of your annual reports first as PDF documents, and only print out the 4 or 5 pages of financial statements that you'll need. And I prefer to print them out. If you prefer working from an electronic document, that's fine, but I like to have things manual. So as I'm going, I can tick it off and I know I've entered it in. So I literally just print out my financial statements that I actually need. Now I printed them very small because I can actually see small, but if you need them large, you can print them as large as you'd like to. And that way you'll be able to just type them into your spreadsheet straight from your printed documents. Now, the biggest tip I have for doing this is use formula in Excel to check your totals. So don't type your totals in, just type the individual items, and when you get to a total amount, use the sum formula in Excel, and that will actually check if you entered the individual items right. If your total doesn't match the total in your printed financials, go back through and check again. Okay, so let's enter some financials. So make sure you get your company spreadsheet from Moodle. It's usually somewhere in the top central panel of Moodle. So this is from a previous term. Company spreadsheet is what we want. It's called something similar, and it'll look like an Excel document, something similar to that. So click it, save it somewhere, and then open it up. And it should look like this. You'll have to customize that, and we'll do that in a minute. I'll just go back and show you the set out. So first we have to enter the statement of changes in equity. We only want to enter the total column for this statement. Then underneath that is the balance sheet. We'll enter all of the items in the balance sheet. And then right at the bottom are our income statements. So if your firm shows you two separate income statements, enter the profit and loss first, or the main income statement, and then enter the comprehensive income statement underneath that. The comprehensive income statement starts with the profit from the profit and loss statement anyway, so it will always flow nicely. If your firm enters these two statements as one statement, that's fine, just enter that one statement. So right at the end are our income statements. Okay, so first of all, customize it. I'm going to put Wesfarmers Limited in here. So statement of changes in equity, Martin's already written there. Years ended, and Wesfarmers has a year-end date of 30 June. That's their balance date. So your firm might be a different date. Well, most likely will be a different date. It could be 31st December, 31st March is another common one, 30th of September for banks. Usually that's quite common. So whatever your balance date is, make sure that you enter it, and you'll know what your company's balance date is, because once you download all of your annual reports, as I have done already, I've done them for the last 4 years. You only need to do them for the last 3 years. But if you do them, you can actually open up the annual reports, which I have done for 2017, and it will tell you in your financial statements what their balance date is. So Wesfarmers is 30th of June. Now, we start with the statement of changes in equity, which Wesfarmers has listed right at the end. Let's make this a little bit bigger for you. So this is the first statement that we need to enter in to our spreadsheet. Now you'll notice the statement of changes in equity goes through the changes in equity. It's the only statement that's set out differently to the other statements. So all of the other statements, we just quickly have a look at the balance sheet here. You'll notice they have all of the items listed as rows, and the columns are the years. The statement of changes in equity does it inverse. So it puts years as the rows. So you'll see 2016 is the first year as the top row, and then 2017 is the second year. So it lists the years as rows horizontally rather than vertically, and it actually lists all of the items of equity as columns. Now you can ignore all of these. We don't, for the purposes of entering it, we only want to enter the total column. So we only need to enter, I'm not quite sure, hang on. There we go. So we only want to enter this total column here. So ignore all these columns beforehand, you just want to enter the total in. Now, don't enter all of these items because you'll notice that 2016 and 2017 are listed out separately, but the items are actually the same. So it starts with opening balance, then it comes net profit. So opening balance here for 2016, and this is opening balance for 2017. Then we've got a net profit for the year, net profit for the year, other comprehensive income as a heading, other comprehensive income, exchange differences we had in that year, and exchange differences we also had in 2017. Changes in the fair value we also had in 2017. Remeasurement loss and defined benefit plan we also had in 2017. So these items you only need to enter them once and then just put the figures in for the different years. We've got a total and a total, which are the same as these two totals down here. Share-based payments, issues of shares, proceeds from exercise, and equity dividends. So actually, they are exactly the same for 2016 as they are for 2017. So I'm just going to type in these amounts. Now, I have tried to copy and paste those before and it doesn't work very well. So that's why I'm saying type them in. So I'll just try and copy and paste it and show you what I mean. Actually, that's not too bad this time. They fixed it. That's all right. I might start with that. If you can, some of the PDF files will not do that. It'll just totally muck it up. See how they've put a little bit of, so they've got like page numbers and amounts here. You have to go through and you do have to do a bit of editing and formatting. And I'll show you how to do that later as well. When we analyse subsequent annual reports for their figures, we also may have to insert lines, and which will change our formatting, so we will have to reformat with the nice blue and white lines as well. The idea is, as I've said initially, we want to copy our statement of changes in equity in only using the total column. So these are the items, and this is my total for the 2016 year. This is these are the figures for my 2017 year, just this column here, just the total column. So I don't need to look at any of these items in here, I just want to enter that total column. Now I'll also show you my previous year's annual reports, because I like to start with my earliest annual report and put a balance in for 2014 and then link everything else through. So I'll just pause the video now, go and find your statement of changes in equity and see if you can start typing in these items for the most recent year, so 2017 and 2016. I'll go and open my previous annual reports and I'll come back. Okay, so I'm going to open my 2015 annual report because my 2017 annual report shows me financials for these 2 years. My 2015 annual report will show me financials for these 2 years. So I really only need to open 2 of my financial reports to actually get 4 years worth of data. So opening my 2015 financial report, which I've already set up nice and neat for you, right here, shows the statement of changes in equity for the 2014 and 2015 years. So again, all I wanted to show you by doing this is what items have changed and that I'll need to enter into my company spreadsheet. So again, only looking at the totals for my figures, ignore all these figures, and for the items that I'm typing into my spreadsheet, I just want to go through and see what I've got already from doing the 2016 and 2017 years, and then go through and see what I'll need for doing the 2015 and 2014 years. So this is the 2014 year here, and this one is the 2015 financial year. So just going through, so opening balance I've already got, net profit for the year I've already got, heading I've already got that in, again for 2015 and, for 2016 and 17, but I don't have this one in, so I'm actually going to have to enter a figure for that one in. That's the only year looking at this statement that it's got it. So in 2014, that's the only year that will have a figure in it. Every other year will be blank for this particular item. So I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to insert a line here, right click and insert, and just paste that in. Oops. Control Z will undo for me, insert another line, and now paste that in. And see how it's put it on 2 lines. I just want to cut that, Control X to cut it, and Control paste, so Control V, sorry, in there. I can delete that line. I'll fix up the formatting later. So I've got my 2 exchange differences. What else did I have in the 2015 year that I haven't already got? So I'm working from my printed financials for 2016 and 17. So changes in the fair value of financial assets I don't have in either. So I'm going to copy that one and see if I can paste it in underneath here. Didn't need to delete that line. Okay. I've got fair value cash flow hedges, which I think the next one is. Yep, so I don't need to enter that one. I've already got it, and I've already got that one. I've got my 2 totals. I've got share-based payments already. I've got issues of shares already. I don't have capital return and share consolidation. So Control C to copy that in. And if I go under here and insert a line, and then Control V to paste that in there. Now, if copying and pasting it from your PDF documents into Excel isn't working for you, just type it in. That's what I used to have to do previous years. It was pretty lucky I can copy and paste this year. Just saves a little bit of time. Okay, so keep going down. Own shares acquired, I don't have either. So copy that one. And paste it in. It looks like in 2014, yeah, this year, I've got a couple extra items that aren't in some of the other years. They're not in 2016 and 17. Proceeds I've already got, and equity dividends and the closing balance. All right, so that year is done. Just check the 2015 financial year. So opening balance, I've got net profit, comprehensive income heading, exchange differences I've got in there, changes in the cash flow, fair value of cash flow hedges I've got. That one I've got my 2 totals. I have this one already in there. I've just put that one in, so I know I've already got that one. I've got that line, and I've got the rest of those lines. Okay, so now I know I've entered all of my rows correctly. These are all the rows that I'll need. Opening balance, add my net profit for the year. This is a heading. So what I like to do is bold my headings and underline them. Now I need to make this one blue, so let's format painter with my little paintbrush. Click on that and format that back to blue. And just here, I'm just fixing my formatting. Let's just format painter these cells as well. Okay, so paint those all the same colour. Look, my other comprehensive income, that doesn't need to be bolded. Need to take these off. So you can just see I'm just tidying up some of the formatting of my document from copying and pasting it in. Again, if copy and paste doesn't work for you, make sure that you type yours in. Okay, I'm just going to put closing balance for this one. This is very important. This is the balance that should match to equity in your balance sheet as well. I need to make that blue as well. So click in any cell that I want it to look familiar or look the same as, and then hit my format paint button and paint it. Okay, so now I simply just have to go through and put some balances in. Now I'm going to start with my earliest year for 2014. I'm going to put an opening balance in, make sure I'm on the right line. Well, I'm going to put in my 2014 balance, which will be from my 2015 financial report. Here's my opening balance. That's the opening balance for 2014. 26022. I only need to look at this column. I'm ignoring all of these columns. 26022. 26022. Okay, my net profit is the next line. My net profit for the year was 2689. 2689. That's a heading, so I don't need to just check that it's my heading. Yes. The next one's exchange difference on translation of foreign operations. Exchange difference. So I've got positive 86 here, and for the second exchange difference, a negative 10. Positive 86 and negative 10 for the second one, which I'm pretty sure is that. Okay, changes in the fair value of financial assets. Positive 2, and cash flow hedges is negative 62. Oops. So positive 2 and negative 62. Make sure I'm putting those in the right places. Yep. Remeasurement loan on defined benefit plan for their employees is 1. Positive 1. So let's go and enter that in. Now I've got to my total. This is a total. I like to just italicize my totals so that I know they're not an item. This is where I need to use my formula. This is my top tip. Make sure that you are checking your entering of your financial statements by using formulas. So to use any formula in Excel, you just press the equal sign. I'm just going to sum my comprehensive income items, because that's the first total, is simply just doing the sum of other comprehensive income or loss for the year, which is just your other comprehensive income items, just these ones. And then the total comprehensive income or loss for the year is that total plus your net profit for the year. So firstly, let's just check my 17 is right. And it is, that's good. So my total should now be 2706 when I go back and say it is my profit plus my comprehensive income, 2706, and it is. I'll just italicize that. Okay, so using a formula is really good, because once you put it in once, you simply use the fill button, which is that little plus sign. So when you hover your mouse right to the corner of that cell, it turns into a plus sign, and just fill it across. And that will now, you'll never have to enter anything in these years. It will automatically do your check. You just have to enter your initial figures in for each individual item, and it will do your totals for you. So 2706 does match, so I'm happy with that. Now I'm just going to enter these amounts. So share-based payments, issues of share, capital return, owned shares acquired, and so forth. So just give me a couple minutes and I'll enter those for you, and then I'll turn the video back on again. So 9 and 3. Okay, so I've just entered those items in straight from my financials. I'm up to my balance now, and I'm going to put another sum in, and it is the ending balance. So I need to start with my opening balance, add to that my total comprehensive income, which was my overall total, which already added up that item and all of these items through this total. So it's my opening balance plus my total comprehensive income plus all of the items of equity transactions with shareholders, we call these, all of my transactions with shareholders, and that will equal my closing balance for the year. And again, because it's a total, I just want to fill it across, whoops, just to that cell there. It's only for the 4 years. 25,987. Just quickly check that it is my, and it is 25,987. So very good. So I know that I've entered my 2014 year figures in correctly, and I've got every single item for my 2014 year. Now this becomes the opening balance for my 2015 year. So again, link it. So that equals the closing balance for the previous year. And again, because that's a total, just link it. Format painter it. Now these will automatically change. It says it's the same at the moment because I haven't entered any other figures in, so of course it's going to be the same. But you'll see in the formula bar that it is a linked formula, which means it will automatically update. So now you don't have to enter anything in. What I'm going to do now is for the 2015 financial year, go through each line item and enter those in as well. So net profit for the 2015 year, is here, 2440. 2440. Now I'm going to go through and enter all these items only. I'm not going to do the totals. It's going to automatically check for me. So starting with, what's this line? Exchange difference or foreign translation. Make sure you're entering the right lines. So it's 11, negative 11. We've got negative 11. I don't think I have this one in this year. That was only for 2014, I'm pretty sure. So make sure I don't enter anything. Yeah, my next one here is changes in the fair value of cash flow hedges, which is negative 182. So I don't have anything for those two, but for this one, I've got negative 182. So if you like, you can just leave those cells blank, or if you feel like it, you can just put zeros in there. I just prefer to leave them blank because they weren't zero, it just didn't occur altogether. So I like to leave it blank. Okay, and I've only got one more remeasurement loss, and then my total will automatically calculate for me. So it's a positive 1. I should have negative 192 as a total. And I do, negative 192, and then a positive 2248. And a positive 2248, which is good. So see how my totals are automatically checking for me that I'm entering all these other little figures in correctly. So that's my most important tip for entering the statement of changes in equity. Make sure you are using formula for all your totals. Okay, now I'll just quickly enter these transactions with shareholders, just the total column of these ones, so positive 11,864, and then I'll come back and show you how my totals add up again. Okay, I'm just up to my equity dividends, so minus 2597, minus 2597. So I'm expecting my overall balance to be, my ending balance for 2015 to be 24,781. And it is 24,781. Now that should be the opening balance for my 2016 financial year. So if I go to my 2016, which is in my 2017 report, so just check 24,781 should be the opening balance, and it is because I've automatically linked it. So now I'm going to go through and just enter my 2016 amounts in, and then my 2017 amounts in from my 2017 financial statements. So again, you can work through them electronically. I like to work through paper copies and just look at this and type it in as I'm going through. So profit for the year for 2016 was 407. I'm going to go through and type 407 in, and then go through and fill in all these items. So again, I'm going to pause the video now just so you don't have to tediously watch me entering all those figures in, but you know where I'm getting them from. The 2017 financial report, the total column. So I'm going to enter those figures in, check my totals because I've already got those formulas in Excel, and then enter my transactions with shareholders in, check the totals, make sure that my opening balance for the final year 2017 is correct, then go through, enter the profit for 2017, enter my comprehensive income items in, and my transactions with shareholders, and again check the totals. So I'm just going to pause the video now and show you the completed product. Okay, I've entered in my other comprehensive income items for 2016 and 2017, and I've checked my totals against my financial statements and they do match. So I'm just going to enter in my transactions with shareholders now in my 2 years, and then check again that my closing balance does match with my financials. Okay, so I finished entering my transactions with shareholders for 2016 and 2017, and I've just checked that my closing balance matched that for in my 2016 financials. So 22,949 was my closing balance in 2016. So 22,949, which is correct. And my final closing balance as at 30th of June 2017 was 23,941. And again, that did balance. So I know, because I've used a total, I know that I've entered all my individual items correctly. So that's my statement of changes in equity entered in. Just copy and paste or type it in and type your figures in from year to year. So if I view that a bit smaller so that you can actually see it, this is what it looks like. So statement of changes in equity or statement of movements in equity. We have an opening balance for each year, and we have the net profit. Then we have our comprehensive income, which is this section there with a total. This total here is my comprehensive income plus my profit. So this total, this row 17 for me, is actually adding all those together. Then I have my transactions with shareholders, and then I have a closing balance, which is my opening balance plus this total plus all of these items. Oops. So my closing balance starts with my opening balance and it adds all of these together, because remember, this total here in row 17 already adds all of these together. So my closing balance is just checking really that I've done everything else right. That's a completed statement of changes in equity. Things that you want to check once you've done this, what we look for in marking, is that your comprehensive income, so these items here, actually matches that in your income statement. So when we enter through our income statement down here, our comprehensive income statement, you want to check that these actually match. So that total amount here matches the total comprehensive income in your income statements. And this closing balance of equity, so this line here matches the closing balance of equity that we're going to enter in here for your balance sheet. So that's the statement of changes in equity done. Now we move on to the balance sheet. So again, using I'm going to start with, we can start with your earliest one. So let's go to my 2015 report, which has my 2014 and 15 figures in it. Go to the balance sheet. So I'm going to enter all of these in, see if I can copy and paste it in again. Assets, total assets, Control C for copy. See if I can Control V in here. And it lets me, it's really nice. Just have to change some formatting. So I've got up to total assets there. Let's see what else I have. Now I'll start with liabilities and up to total equity. So copy, Control C for copy, and no, it's not going to let me in this one. And if I try and insert it, Control Y copies the last action that you've done. So I inserted first and then press Control Y. Let's see if it'll paste it in now. Yep, it is pasting it in now. So that's good. I think because it was going over this merged cell, it wasn't letting me put it in. So I'm going to have to do a bit of formatting, but that's okay. I've got them in there. Now I'm just going to go through and check my 2016 and 2017 financial statements and make sure I've got every single item in, which I can do after I've entered these two figures. So for assets for 2014, I don't know if this will let me do it. Let's see, we might be able to copy and paste. I'll copy and paste everything including totals at the moment. No, it's not going to. That's all right. I'll go through and manually enter my figures. 2014, starting with 2067. Alright, I'll pause the video and come back once I've completed that. Okay, so I've just finished entering my figures for the 2014 and 2015 items. You'll notice that I haven't entered in anything for the totals because I want to check my totals using formula. So I've literally just taken these figures from the 2014 and 2015 columns of the 2015 financial report. So I've literally just entered in the items. I haven't typed in the total figures. So I want to check those totals by doing formula. So equals the sum of, I only have to type them in once. That's my current assets, and then just fill it across for all years. Assets, current assets, don't need that as a bold. I like to italicize my totals and bold my headings. So non-current assets, take the bolding off that. And let's put a total in, equals the sum of my non-current assets, and format fill that total in. So for current assets, I should have 9093 and 9311. 9093 and 9311, and for non-current assets I should have 31309 and 3416. So 31309 and 3416. So I'm happy that I've actually typed these amounts in because I've used a formula to check. My total assets, so these two I like to italicize because they are my totals. So my total assets should equal my current assets plus my non-current assets. And again, fill that formula across. So total should be 4402 and 39727. 4402 and 39727. Good. So I've entered my assets in correctly. Let's go and see if I've entered these liabilities in. Current liability should be 9782. Go down here. Have I done that right? Oh, I put them on the wrong lines. Cut and paste them in down there, that's better. Okay, so now my total should be equals the sum of just my current liabilities. Fill that formula across. 9782, that was correct. And my non-current liabilities equals the sum of just my 4 items of non-current liability. Fill my formula across. So 5895 and 5511. 5895 and 5511. Good. So my total liabilities, let's go and put my formula in for total liabilities, should equal my non-current and current. And fill that formula across. Okay, so 13 and 15. 13 and 15, 61. Good. So my net assets, so Wesfarmers presents their balance sheet via net assets. So assets minus liabilities equals equity. So remember our original accounting equation, assets equals liabilities plus equity. That's the total assets form method. Net assets is assets minus liabilities equals equity. So that's the way Wesfarmers has presented it. Has to equal equity. Those two figures, net assets and equity, have to equal for our balance sheet to balance. So net assets should be 24 and 25. Let's go and do the formula and check. So net assets equals my total assets minus my total liabilities. Put my formula in and fill it across. So it'll be 24,781 and 25,987. 24,781 and 25,987. Good. Now again, just check that my items of equity equal those same balances. Put my formula in for my equity, which is equals my 4 items of equity, my 4 categories of equity. Fill my formula across and it matches, so I'm happy that it matches. Actually, I can get rid of all these lines now. Right, click and delete. Actually, let's keep this line. Go back and double click my format painter and let's go and paint every second line. Actually, I should have probably started from the top. And we'll see if I'm lucky. Yes, I'm lucky. And it's matched nice and evenly. Now, I'm not going to format painter because this is considered to be a text cell. I want to format painter my numbers cells. So I'm just going to click in any of my numbers area, double click my format painter button and paint each line blue. Okay, so I've finished format paintering, so I'll just unclick my little format painter button now to stop it painting everything. And I can go through, and what I'm going to do now before I move on to enter my 2017 and 2016 figures is I actually just want to fix up my formatting. So I'm going to bold all my headings and so bold all these and italicize all of my totals. So I'll go through and do that, and then I'm going to enter my 2016 figures. Okay, so I just fixed up the formatting and I got rid of all the little numbers that were here, and I bolded and underlined my headings and I italicized my totals. So I just tidied it up a little bit for me. You can format that however you like. Now I'm going to enter my 2016 and 2017 balance sheet figures. Actually, I should fix up that date too, as at 30 June. And I'm going to get these from my 2017 annual report. So go to my 2017 annual report for the balance sheet, scroll up, and I'll just check because there might be some items that I have to add in. I forgot about that when I was doing my formatting. That's okay. Let's start with cash. 611,1628 for trade receivables and finance advances and loans. I'm not sure if I've got that heading in yet. Just go and check. So cash is 611 for that year. Yep, so 2 receivables in there, inventories, derivatives and other. Inventories, derivatives and other. Yep, so all of those are in there. So I'm just going to go through and enter all these figures. Okay, so I've entered my current assets in and my total does match against my financials, as you can see. So that's one good check. I'm going to go and enter these figures in now and check that my total automatically calculates that for me. Okay, so I've just finished entering all of my non-current assets in, and my total non-current assets are 3681. So let's have a look. No, I've stuffed up somewhere, so I have to go back through. See, this is a good thing of doing your totals as a check. So obviously I've entered one of these figures wrong, so I'm going to have to go back line by line and have a look through, and I can actually see where it is. It's this one here, my intangibles, I've accidentally entered my 2017 figure in, 4576, should be 4625. So let me go and correct that. Yeah, I was looking at the wrong column. So this is the important thing. Make sure that you're putting checks and balances in place. And I've also entered the wrong figure here. It should be 565. I accidentally entered in my 2017 figures. So now let's go and check 31099. Yes, that's right. So my total assets should be 40,787,883, which they are for 2016. All right, let me go through and enter all these, checking that my totals also match for me. So I'm just going to enter my trade and other payables from my 2016 figure. So 6491, starting with there. Make sure my totals match. Okay, so I've entered in all my liabilities and equity, and I've checked my totals, and they actually do match, which is good. So now I'm going to go through and enter my 2017 figures, my final lot, and then again making sure that letting my Excel formula check my totals for me. So I'm working from my printed document. This is why I can do it so quickly. So current assets, I'm going to start from 1013 and enter those in. Now, one good thing actually about Wesfarmers financials was there was no differences. So there were no additional lines that I had to, insert line or whatever. But your financials might have some extra items in later years or earlier years, and you'll actually have to insert those lines, which will just mean those particular items have 0 figures, or just leave them blank for the years that don't have that item. I'm just going through quickly, enter these in. Okay, so check, yes, 3448 and 40115. That's good. Go down to my liabilities, enter these in. This is my last lot for my balance sheet. So yes, my total is 10417. I just want to show you how to enter the final. It's so satisfying when your totals match, which you'll write about in your assignments. Minus 26 here. Whoops, and 190. Okay, so 23,941. Good. So my balance sheet balances. Now, just delete these last two so it's nice and neat. Okay, one thing I want to point out, my total equity figure here should match to the total equity in my statement of changes in equity above. So 23,941 should match to 23,941, and it does. 22,949 matches with 22,949, 24,781. Yes, and 25,987 matches to 25,987. Good. So see what I mean? In here, make sure that you are checking that your closing balance, which should be italicized actually, your closing balance of equity in the statement of changes in equity should match your equity in the balance sheet. It's one of the checks that we look for when we're marking too, to guide us very quickly into where you might have made a mistake. So that's my statement of changes in equity and my balance sheet done in about 40 minutes, including explaining it to you. So it shouldn't take you too long to enter these financials. Now we'll go through the income statements. I'm going to enter my profit and loss first. So again, same deal. Go back to my 2015 report. Go and find here's my comprehensive income statement, and here's my income statement. So this is my normal profit and loss, and this is my comprehensive profit and loss statement. So Wesfarmers separates them into 2 documents. Your company might have them all as one. If it doesn't matter. You still need to enter either the one complete document or the 2 separate statements. In my case, 2 separate statements. But have a look at this. Your profit figure that your comprehensive income statement starts with must match the profit figure that your income statement ends with. So profit from continuing operations, 2440 and 1510. Sorry, profit attributable to members, that's what we're looking at. The final profit amount. Profit attributable to members, the very, very final profit. You'll notice there's a number of different profit items, profit before tax, profit after tax, and so forth. But we want the final profit, 2440, 2689, should be what we start with. Profit attributable to members, 2440 and 2689. So you can start from those, so finish at those lines of entering it. So I'm going to finish entering my income statement here. Ignore all this, don't enter that. And start entering my comprehensive income statement from this line as well. So I don't need to enter it again because that'll be doubling up. So I know that I've already entered that line up here when I enter this statement, and then I'll start entering my items of other comprehensive income. Now, just a note on that too, notice that Wesfarmers has separated again the items of comprehensive income. They've listed them out here. Now, they've already listed them out for me in my statement of changes in equity. So a good check is to make sure that in your statement of changes in equity, up here, when you've entered these items in, that they actually match what's being reported in your income statement as well. So that's one of the checks. Some companies will only enter a total. So your company might actually not list these items out. They'll only list them out in the income statement, which is what we're entering now. So when you've entered this up here, you might have only entered this total figure in. So all of this might have been gone. You might not have all that in. All you would have would be the total figure in, the 18 and the 78. That's fine. I would suggest if your company only just shows profit and then the comprehensive income as one total line, that you take the time to just separate it out now, because it's going to make your life much easier when we come to restate it in the next step. So if your company, Wesfarmers is good, Wesfarmers has listed all of the items out for me already. If your company hasn't listed them out, if they've just included one line as a total, use this opportunity now to list them out based on your income statement here. See how they've listed these items out already? So the overall total of other comprehensive income should match. So 192 and the 17 should match, see 192 and the 17. So the total, so if your company's just put the total in, you know how they've split up the 192 and 17, and you can actually go back and enter those items now based on your income statement, your comprehensive income statement. So if your company has just put the one total line in, I'd suggest going back to your income, to your statement of changes in equity now, and just inserting some line and adding those individual items in. It will make life a lot easier when we restate. If your company's good like Wesfarmers and has already listed them out, that's cool. You've already done it. You don't have to do anything extra. Okay, so we will definitely need a lot of extra lines than what has been given here. We'll start anyway and enter in our income statement first. So I don't want the comprehensive income. I want this statement first, which is actually really small. That's not too long, only for revenue and up to here. That's all I want. So copy that. Let's see if it'll paste it in for me. Yay, it did. Look at that, right up to the working area. Insert a line and Control Y to get me some more lines in. And now I'm going to, so profit attributable to the members. Now I'm going to copy and paste my, so don't enter your earnings, ignore that. I'm going to start from here, my other comprehensive income, and copy and paste all of this right down to my total comprehensive income for the year. Copy and paste. Alright, I'll have to do some formatting later on, but that's fine. That's really good. It's saved me typing all that. If not, if your company doesn't let you copy and paste, you'll have to type it, which is what I used to do every year. Okay, so I'm going to enter my, see how it says restated? They must have changed some policy in 2015. So in the annual report for 2014, if I actually open the annual report for 2014, some of these figures might be different, because what's happened is it's different restating to the restating we do later. This just simply means they've restated the 2014 report figures, what they'd originally reported in our 2014 report. They've restated them according to whatever change in accounting policy or whatever change in preparation of the accounting figures that they've made in 2015, between the 2015 report and the 2014 report. So these comparative figures have been restated. That's why they've got that restated there. But it's a different restating to what we do. Anyway, I'm going to start. I'm going to enter these figures in. I'm going to pause the video so you don't have to sit there and watch me physically typing them in. And again, I'm going to use totals, so formulas for my totals to check that I've entered these figures in correctly. They're starting with 6181 for 2014. Okay, so I've just entered all of the items. Now, every year we get lots of questions on what's a total. And I always say, don't enter totals. Use formulas for your totals. Don't enter headings and totals. You'd be surprised. Some people enter headings and some people enter totals because they don't realise they're a total. And every financial statement will contain a number of totals, especially with your income statement. So you need to spend the time, this is part of the point of the whole assignment, is to familiarise yourself with your company's financials and figure out which line is an item and which one is a total and which one's a heading. And don't enter figures into headings and don't enter figures into total items. Use a formula to calculate your totals because that serves as a check. So again, Wesfarmers has got just one line for revenue and that isn't a heading, but your line for revenue might be a heading. In Wesfarmers' case, they actually list revenue in one item and they have the split up of revenue in a note. So in the actual financial, that's not a heading for me. That's an item that I need to enter a figure into. So the expenses, these are all items. This is a total expenses. So I don't want to enter that figure in. I want to use a formula in Excel to check. So this is what I'm saying. Spend some time to analyse your financial statements so that you know what's a heading and what's a total. So my total expenses, those brackets. Then once I put a total in, once you put a formula in, fill it across so that you don't have to do it every year. So 57,698, check that it does match, and 59,100, which it does. So I'm happy I've entered those right. So those two are items that I had to enter in, but my earnings before income, tax and expense, that was a total. So again, so these two items, I entered those in. This was a total. And this is a total. I didn't even enter that in. I've left it blank. Earnings before interest and income tax expense, that's a total. So again, what is it a total of? You have to spend some time with your calculator figuring out your financial statements, and that's all going to benefit your understanding of your financials. So in here, I think mine is logically, it's going to be my revenue minus my expenses minus my, or add my other income. See how they're positive amounts here? Positive is income and negative, the brackets means negative, which is expenses. So in Excel, because I've entered it the same way, so I've entered them as negatives in my Excel, in my total for Excel, my sum, I can actually just sum all of those figures up. So I can put equals my revenue and add my expenses because I've entered them as negatives. So mathematically I can add that and then add in this and add in this. So that is a total, fill it across so I don't have to do it again. 2795, just check, 2795 and 3759. 3759. So I know that I'm correct with my total, so that's good. So again, going back to my original financials, finance cost was an item, so I entered that figure in. Profit before income tax, that's another total. So that will be the sum of those two, I would imagine. My profit before interest and tax. And this is my profit before, so this is my profit after interest, i.e. my finance costs, and before income tax. So 2449. So let me go and enter that in. Equals sum, open bracket, of those two. 2449, and it is. Fill that across so I don't have to do it. Then income tax is an item, so enter that in. And then again, profit after interest and tax, that will be a total. So check my totals. Equals sum of these two items. And fill it across. So 1510, check. 2440, check. Good. Now, I didn't have any discontinued operations in 2015, like I did in 2014, so that's a total and that's a total. So I only entered those two figures in. I'm going to check my totals. And I stop there. Don't enter any of your earnings per share and just ignore that. Just stop at your final profit figure. So for me, that's the 2689. So let me just, where's my insurance division come from? I've entered them in the wrong line. See, this is good. Always check. So my 95 and 1084 need to be in, that's a heading. Don't enter it in your heading. Enter it here. That's much better. All right. Now, I'm gonna exclude this line. I don't want that in there. I just want that as my final profit. So my final profit will be the sum of my profit before discontinued and my profit after discontinued, and fill that across. All right, so 2689 and 2440. 2689 and 2440. That's good. That's what I need to start with. My profit attributable to members of the parent. So now I'm going, so that's entering my income statement right up to this profit line here. That should be italicized once I fix up the formatting. And that's what my comprehensive income statement starts with, and that's important. You need to be able to enter both of those income statements in. You're not finished here. You need to enter your comprehensive income statement. So again, I've entered the individual items, and I'm just going to enter my totals as formula to check. So other comprehensive income for the year, that's where I want to sum all of the comprehensive income items. And again, I can check that back to my statement of changes in equity comprehensive income. And then finally do my final total right down here at the end, 2248 and 2706. So let me go and just check other comprehensive income. So this will be my equals sum of all my comprehensive income items. 17, fill it right across, and 192, was it 17 and 192? Yep, that's good. And now my net comprehensive income, ignore those, get rid of those lines, whoops, delete those two. So this total here will simply be my profit, that my profit and loss started with, plus my comprehensive income, or comprehensive profit. That's my final profit. And that is the figure that I want to check back to my statement of changes in equity. So this should be checked back to my, again, you can actually check it right back from here. So let's go and check my profit figure, 2440 and 2689. 2440 and 2689, so I'm happy with that. My total 17 and 192, I remember those, I know that's correct. And my total comprehensive income and profit for the year, 2706 and 2248. Go right down here, 2706 and 2248. So yes, that matches. So I know for my 2014 and 2015 years I've got it right. I'm going to go and do the same thing now for my 2016 and 2017 years using my 2017 annual report. I'll go through my income statement, and my statement of changes in equity is over on the other side of the page. So again, I'll start with my revenue, 65981 for 2016, enter them in, and I'm only entering just the items. I don't want to enter my totals. I've got to check that I've got the same items of expense actually for these years. So I'm just going to compare now quickly. Raw materials, employee benefits, freight and other, occupancy related, depreciation, impairment and other. So I don't have to enter any other lines in. Share of net profits I've already got, finance costs I've already got, and income tax expense I've already got. So that's good. I actually don't have to enter any items in. If you do, you would have to, right click, insert line, and just add the figure in for whatever year you might have to add it in for. So it's nice and easy for me with Wesfarmers. I can just simply go and start entering. Oops, wrong one. Okay, I'm going to pause the video, enter it in for you. I'm also going to take the time to fix up all of this yucky formatting. So using my format painter, and just make it all pretty, so by the time I start the video again, it will look nice and pretty for you. Okay, so I've finally finished and it looks nice and neat, and all my totals balance, and I've formatted it correctly, and I've checked again that my profit figure matches to that in the statement of changes in equity. So my 2873 and my 407 match to here, 2873 and 407. My 18 and negative 78 and my 2891 and 329 also match. So 18 and 78, 2891 and 329. So I'm happy that I've entered my financial statements in correctly. So that's all three statements entered in. Just copy and paste or typed in and type your figures in directly from your annual report financial statements. Now we're not finished yet. There's a couple points I just want to point out. The first one is if your company hasn't separated out finance income in your revenue, as Wesfarmers hasn't done in my case, you need to go and find that finance income, because when we restate the income statements, we need to separate out finance income. So save yourself the time, because restating is a lot harder than just simply entering in. We're literally just copying and pasting financials in this step. So do yourself a favor. If it doesn't enter it in, if it doesn't separate finance income out, go and find it where it is and separate it out for you. So I'm just going to insert 2 lines here, Control Y twice, and I'm going to call this one finance income, and then put a total in here, total revenue. Now, I may have to make changes to my formulas because of this, but I wanted to firstly enter the financials and show you before doing this, just so I didn't confuse you. So let's go and find and see if we can have a look at the financial statements to find Wesfarmers finance income. So I'm just going to have a look under note 1 to start with and see if it tells me there what it is. So I'm just scrolling down to note 1. Note 1, income. So here we are, interest revenue. So this is my finance income or interest income. So you may have to, if your company actually lists it out, that's fine. You don't have to do anything because it'll already be in your financials, but Wesfarmers doesn't. So I want to separate out this interest revenue or interest income. So you might also need to do searches if your company doesn't make it as easy for you to find your interest income as Wesfarmers has just done for me. Control F will bring you up your search bar and type in something like interest revenue, interest income, finance income, and search through your PDF document and see if you can find that figure. Wherever you find it, you want to take those figures and put them into your financial statements now. So for 2017 it's 84 and for 2016 it's 131. So 84 and 131 need to be written in here for me. 2015, I'm going to do the same thing. So go to my 2015 annual report. Let's scroll down to note 1 and see if they do the same thing for us, or if I'm going to have to go searching elsewhere. So note 1, here they are. So they made it nice and easy for me. So 27 and 10 are my 2 figures. So 27 and 10. Okay, so if you haven't already done it, isolate this finance income. So now I need to modify my formula. So that's my total revenue. It already includes this figure here. So I need to take that figure off, otherwise I'm going to be overstating. So just simply put that in, equals your revenue minus the figure I've just entered. You can't fill that one across. Equals revenue minus that figure, and equals my revenue minus my finance income. And so my total revenue will be the sum of those 2 amounts. Now that, just check that this does balance actually back to your original financial statements. So 68,444, 65,981, and 62,447 and 61,181. So that's good. So I've checked that that balances. Now my first profit figure, my first linking amount that actually links this, I just go and modify it and make sure that it's linking back to the original. And because I've changed this formula now, I need to fill it across. And then once we've isolated that out, just check that my final totals haven't changed because of it. 2248, 2706 and 2891 and 329. So that's good. I've accounted for that. So all I've done is just separated out my finance income. That will make my life a lot easier when I come to restating this statement. I'm just going to fix up some formatting. Okay, so that's me done. Save my company spreadsheet, and I've actually entered in all of my financial statements. So in 1 hour, including explaining it to you, I've pretty much finished all of this. So if you've been doing it along with me, that's great. You've now completed this step. If not, you can pause, go back and rewatch the video and enter it as I'm doing mine. Checks, like I said, make sure that your profit, your comprehensive income mainly, matches to that in your income statements, that your closing balance for equity here matches into the balance sheet for equity, and make sure that your finance income and finance expenses are separated out. All companies will pretty much have this separated, but they may not have this separated. If they haven't, go and separate it. And then just familiarize yourself with what's a total and what's an item. And have a look. I know they sound a bit scary, but have a look at all these items. And if you're not sure what they are, try and find out. So do a bit of Googling on the internet, talk about them in your feedback with other students on the other forums, on your blogs, and other social media platforms. So actually figure out what some of these scary sounding items are. Martin does explain some of them in chapter 4 in his study guide. Apart from that, you've now completed this step. I hope that's been helpful, and I'll see you for the